Hey guys, what's going on? It's John with Midrange TCG, and I'm going to cover the multicolor cards for Guilds of Ravnica, spoiler season. So first off, we have Assassin's Trophy. Now, I made another video talking about Assassin's Trophy, but essentially it's sort of the card that bolsters Golgari into like tier 1, tier 2 decks. Just because you no longer have to spend $15 for a Raz Contempt. That's a 4 mana, exile target creature or planeswalker. Instead, you can pay a black and a green to destroy a target permanent, any permanent. So it could be a land, it could be an artifact, it could be a planeswalker, it could be a creature, it could be your mom, and then it's controlled me. Search the library for a basic land, put onto the battlefield, and shuffle the library. You know how toxic that is, right? The fact that you're just like, oh, well, that's a nice Teferi. I'll trade you for a land. Stuff like that. It's got a lot of really good implications. I think it's going to be probably the best rare coming out of the set. Don't quote me on that, but I'm saying it right now. I think it's really good. I don't think it's seeing a lot of play in modern, or it might. Mostly in like Jeskai Control or something like that, but I don't think it'll really see play in terms of like, just regular Sultai decks or just in regular black-green decks. Boros Challenger, so I'm so sorry, this is so small. So Boros Challenger, so red-white for a 2/3 mentor. So you can also pay 4 mana, give it +1/+1. Not a very good card, very vanilla. I think it's good in draft, good in limited, but not good in constructed. Amara solved the Accord, so I think Amara actually is pretty good. So it's 2 mana 2/2. Whenever she becomes tapped, make a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. So if you can tap her for like Convoke, you can make another creature token, which is pretty cool because you don't actually have to attack with her, and she can stay on the field and make more creatures. Next, Firemind's Research. So blue, red. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, put a charge counter on it. So 1 in a blue, remove 2 charge counters, draw a card, remove 5 counters. So 1 in a blue, draw a card. 1 in a red, remove 5 counters, deal 5 damage to any target. So this card's pretty good because it sort of sets you up early game for anything that you can potentially do with Firemind's Research. It's kind of like a better version of Sarkhan's Unsealing, and you also have multiple modes with this. So you play against counters or play against spell decks and play against like control decks kind of approach, or you can be like, well, I'll just remove 5 counters to deal 5 damage to your face. It's pretty good. And it's also pretty hard to get rid of because it's an enchantment, and a lot of decks don't really play enchantments. Obviously, we now have Assassin's Trophy to deal with it, but if you really want to consider it, white usually has the enchantment removals along with green. So, next you have Goblin Electromancer. So 2 mana 2/2, instants and sorcery cost 1 less to cast. I think this card is very important for Izzet, just because all your instant sorceries are generally 2 mana, 3 mana, and making them cost 1 less means you get to just throw a couple more out there. It's also sort of like pseudo Baral because Baral gets rotated and he sort of does filter the hand, but Goblin Electromancer, 2 mana, 2/2, not bad. Hammer Dropper, I don't really want to see much. He's just a 4 mana 5/2. He's a big boy with Mentor. Now Hypothesizal, 3 blue red, draw 2 cards. You can discard a land. Non-land. If you do, deal 4 damage to target creature. Pretty good as a removal spell, also as a secondary pseudo draw spell. So you can essentially pitch like a card that has Jumpstart, and you get to use its ability again, which is actually really nice. And it's also, it's 5 mana, draw 2 cards, and then deal 4 damage. I think that's a pretty good trade-off, especially when you're topping out 8 cards, and you're like, oh, well, I got to pitch a card. So instead of discarding at the end of the turn after cleanup, you can actually just, I'm going to discard it, and I get to deal something in addition to that. So next we have Niv Mizzet, Pardon. So 3 blue, so blue, red. So 6 mana, can't be countered, flying. When you draw a card, deal 1 damage to any target. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. So he's sort of like a timer. He's also probably going to be like the curve topper for Izzet. I do want to see this guy played. I think he's going to be really good. The fact that he's flying can't be countered means he's really strong against control decks. And then on top of that, if you're playing counter spells and you're playing Izzet, you get to counterspell, deal damage to any target, and then draw a card. So I think he has some very strong and very powerful implications when playing control, also playing against control. I think against aggressive decks, he's also still pretty good. Just the fact that if your opponent goes like, I'm going to play a fight with fire, you can just counter it, draw a card, deal damage to like a creature they control. So I think he's a very strong card. He also has a lot of synergy with Goblin Electromancer because all your mana is cheaper, and then on top of that, Firemind's Research, where your mana is cheaper. Your spells are cheaper, and then you make counters, and then you can draw more cards to deal more damage, or you deal 5 damage with the counters that you get. So he lets you play a bit more of an aggressive stance. Rawl Izzet Viceroy. So 3 blue red +1. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. I'm sorry, he's a 5 for 5. Put one of them to your hand, and the other in your graveyard. So he lets you play jumpstart cards essentially from your graveyard. Then he has deal damage to target creature equal to the total number of instants or sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. So he's essentially like this minus X, or excuse me, deal X damage, where X is the number of, you know, instant sorceries that are exiled and in your grave. It's also really good with a card like Enigma Drake, which says, you benefit from having instants and sorceries in your graveyard. So I think Raw is actually pretty good. And then his -8, his ultimate says, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, the emblem deals 4 damage to any target, and you draw 2 cards. So very strong against control, because control usually can't deal with planeswalkers once they resolve, unless they play something like Vraska's Contempt. Obviously, we're gonna have Assassin's Trophy, but if you look at like Blue Eye Control or next Bat Nexus, you don't really have those options until you reach infinite with the fairy, or you reach emblem status, and then after that you can start moving stuff. But Raw, pretty good card, honestly. I think the fact that you get to play him, and you get to play Niv Mizzet, and you get to play Fireman's Research, Goblin Electromancer, all these cards are super good. You also get to play Wizard's Lightning with them, because they're all wizards, right? He's a wizard. He's a wizard. You're a wizard. We're a wizard. We're wizards, Harry. And so, Roseman Centaur. So 3 green white, 4. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm vegging out. 4 Convoke with Vigilance. I think this card's okay. Not a lot of implications in standard. It's a draft card. Sonic Assault, however, 1 blue red, tap target creature. Sonic Assault deals 2 damage to target creature controller. To that creature's controller, and then jumpstart. So essentially, what you can do is you can be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna look at the top 2 cards with like vice versa effect. I'm gonna pitch a Sonic Assault, and then I'm gonna grab another card, and then I can just discard another card, tap a target creature, and then Sonic Assault deals 2 to that creature's controller. Also, it sort of makes way for like a flyer. So if your opponent is like chump blocking with like Thopters, or they're chump blocking with like 1/1 flyers, Sonic Assault will just be like, okay, well, I'm gonna tap one of your guys, preferably like a big guy, and then I'm gonna deal 2 damage to you. You can also play it on the defense. So your opponent goes, okay, well, I'm gonna enter combat. Sure. Okay. Before you declare attackers, I'm gonna tap down your biggest guy. So it's sort of like a disruption, which is really good. Next, you got Sumala Woodshaper. So 2 green white. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You can remove a creature or enchantment card, put it to your hand, put the rest on your bottom of your library in a random order. I think this could possibly see play in red, green, white, where we do have the Champion of the Flame. I think that'll be good, but I think in terms of just green white enchantments, I don't think it's good enough. I think it's more of an EDH staple, if anything. So I think that's just about what I want to say, because we are losing Saram, which is pretty much like the draw power of the deck, and he's sort of what makes the deck good. And so now that we're steering away from being able to play blue and being forced to play green, to play bigger creatures that sort of get removed unless you play Vinemare, it makes it much harder. Thought Erasure. So blue, black. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card. That player discards that card, and then surveil 1. So it's a turn 2 Thoughtseize, which is okay. I think it's not bad. You don't pay the 2 life. You just reveal their hand. You discard a non-land card, and then you choose a card. The player discards that card, and then the surveil mechanic on top of that is actually kind of good. So if you're playing this with like Search for Sconta, definitely good. I just don't think blue-black is a payoff right now. I mean, I might be wrong, but we'll see, right? Underrealm Lich, so 3 black, green, 4/3. If you would draw a card, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 to your hand and the rest to your graveyard. Pay 4 life, gets indestructible to the end of turn, tap it. So I think this card definitely does want to see play in like a green, black reanimator deck. Also, just the fact that it's essentially a Stitcher supplier. You add a card to your hand and you pitch the other 2. So we're thinking like pseudo Search for Sconta, but better, because you dig deeper. The fact that it's 5 mana is kind of hard, especially because it's a 4/3, and you got to pay life to make it indestructible, and you got to tap it. So that's not bad, because if it's already tapped and you attacked, tapping it isn't a cost; it's just a resolution of effect. So next we got Whisper Agent, so 1, and then the option of blue-black, or black-blue, or blue-blue, or black-black. And so it's a 3/2 flash. When it enters the battlefield, surveil 1. I think this card is cool. You're bringing back the dual mana colors, so the optional mana colors. I think that's really awesome. But I think the 3/2 flash rogue is not that great, because it's not a Direfleet Poisoner. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And it doesn't have Death Touch. It's just flash, and it doesn't have an evasion ability. So I think it's a very iffy card. Probably just another draft card. Next we have Find and Finality. So Find is a sorcery speed, and it's 2 black, 2 green, or a green and a black. And it says return the 2 target creatures you control from your graveyard to your hand. And the Finality is 4 black, green. You may put 2+1/+1 counters on a target creature you control. Then all creatures get -4/-4 at the end of turn. Think of this as like a giant board wipe for Golgari. Pretty cool, honestly. I just don't think that it's very practical to use that second ability. I think it's gonna be definitely much harder too. But the mechanics is kind of cool. So you have the option of selecting between both. I believe you get the option of selecting both, or you get to pick either. Don't quote me on that. I don't exactly know the mechanics. I haven't been playing for like a very long time. So next we have response and resurgence. So response is dual colors, so it's either red or white. 2 mana, deal 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Sort of like a Gideon's intervention, or excuse me, is it Gideon's intervention? No, no, it's one of those cards that has like a picture of Gideon in it. Anyways, it deals 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Really getting it's like Lyra Dawnbringer. I think Resurgence, 3 red, white. Creatures you control gain first strike and vigilance till the end of turn. After this main phase, there's an additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. That is actually pretty good. Honestly, because you just play this during main phase 1, and then it's like, okay, well, I get 2 combat phases this turn. Definitely good considering the direction that red white wants to go. Next, we have status to statue. So status says target creature gets +1/+1 and gains death touch till the end of turn. And statue says destroy target artifact, creature, or enchantment. Now, being able to play this in red black Chain Whirler, what you can do is you can pay that black mana. Chain Whirler enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to everything, and it gains death touch. So I think that's pretty insane. So definitely a very strong board wipe. Obviously, it's a 4 mana board wipe in the form of red black, red green. So you definitely want to look out for that. And then next we have Rawl, Color of Storms. So I'm assuming this is the Planeswalker from the starter packs or from the starter decks. +1 draw card, -2 deal 3 damage divided amongst 1, 2, or 3 targets. -7 draw 7 cards, deal 7 damage to each creature your opponent controls. Not bad, but a little too slow. 6 for 4. Rawl's Static Caster. So 2 blue, red, 3/3 trample. Kind of weird. You give a trample. Whenever Rawl's Static Caster attacks, if you control Rawl Planeswalker, it's +1/+0 for each card in your hand until the end of turn. This card's okay. I don't think it's amazing. It's probably better with Viceroy or Viceroy. And then next we have Vraska Regal Gorgon. So I think this is the card that everyone wanted to see. Excuse me, no, this is the crap Planeswalker. I'm sorry. So Regal Gorgon is the 7 for 5. This is put a +1/+1 counter on 1 target creature, gets menace to the end of turn. -3 is destroy target creature, and then -10 for each card in your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So unless you have trample, not a very good card. It's also a 7 for 5, so it's not really good. Vraska's Attendant of Vraska, so 1 black green for a 3/3. When she dies, if you control a Vraska Planeswalker, gain life equal to Attendant's power. So I guess if it has like multiple +1/+1 counters on it, sure. But I guess other than that, it's not that great. Stone Glare, so I'm assuming this is the fetch card, so this is going to be 6. So it's going to be 4 black green, destroy target creature, gain life equal to its toughness. Search your library or graveyard for Vraska Regal Gorgon, reveal it, put it to your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. So very like generic stuff. I don't think there was anything like special about it. So and then next we have a hybrid. So 1 in a blue, or excuse me, 1 in a red or 1 in a white. 2/1 as long as it's your turn, he gets first strike. It's okay. I think it's not a bad card, but 2 mana 2/1 first strike is very generic. Next we have artifacts, and we have Chromatic Lantern. So this is going to be 3 lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. I think this card is actually pretty cool. Pretty cool. This is a giant fixer, especially when you want to play something like a 5-color deck. Very strong in, I want to say, very strong in limited, very strong in draft, but not very good in standard. But it does let you splash outside of your regular colors, and it also says tap, add 1 mana of any color, so it's not bad. I just wish it was a bit more limiting, and it was like 1 mana, so an example, it's like 1 mana, all basic lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. I think that'd be much better. And then with regards to the lands, we have obviously the Guild Gates. I don't know if we actually have anything that contain mechanics to deal with the Guild Gates yet. We'll probably get that, not in this set, but in Ravnica's Alliance. We're probably going to be looking there. But we have Boros, Dimir, Golgari, Izzet, and then after that we have Selesnya, and that's about it. And then lastly, we have obviously everyone's favorite cards. We have the Shocklands. So we have Overgrown Tomb, Sacred Foundry, Steam Vents, Temple Gardens, and Watergrave. And all of these cards are back. I'm a little upset, but I guess we have to wait for Zorius because I'm usually playing the Zorius colors. So blue-white, go Teferi. But I think Overgrown Tomb is probably going to be like one of the stronger cards. Steam Vents definitely. Overgrown Tomb. I think they're pushing for these 2 colors. Temple Garden's going to benefit for green white, but as of right now, I don't really see like a massive payoff besides the worm. And then Watergrave is just for blue black control players or for blue black like zombie / counter spell decks. You might see like certain brews. Secret Foundry I think is probably the weakest out of all of them, just because red and white don't really go too well together, uh, just based off of what we see. But yeah, other than that, I mean, the spoilers look pretty good. I like the way that the set is turning out. We've only gotten a total of 64 out of 259 cards, so there's still quite a few mythics that have to be spoiled. But it's been confirmed we are only having two planeswalkers. Vrask is going to be one, and then Rawl is the other. So tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys are going to be playing in the next format. I personally think I'm going to be playing either Golgari or Is It, and I think Is It is an awesome color. I've got a lot of awesome support, and I'm probably going to try to build a deck that plays around the Enigma Drake, around Nuve Mizzet, and around Raw. I'll probably be building a deck something like that. And I mean, if I take top for the goals, I'll definitely post online and let you guys know. So yeah, like I said, tell me what you guys think. Let me know if you guys think this set is good. Let me know if it hit your expectations, and then I guess comment on what you think is going to be the best deck going into the next format. Once again, it's John with Midrange TCG signing out.